Okay, we are back live with another Between the Pages book chat, and we are welcoming back uh, William David Ellis, who's the author of the Harry Ferguson Chronicles. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're also going to talk about a little bit about his Sherlock Holmes stories. So I'll let him introduce himself. Take it away, please.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad to be here. Last time we were together, we had a great time, if I remember. Like you said, my name is William David Ellis. I go by David. I live in East Texas, and I began writing, indie writing, about 4 years ago. Actually, my first book was when I was in the third grade, and it was three whole pages, handwritten, and it did not sell well. I think my dad bought a copy for a nickel. But anyway, that's the beginning. And now I've just kind of jumped in the pond and learned to swim. And so Harry Ferguson has become 5 books, Chronicles. Began with the princess who forgot she was beautiful. And I know that you've got some questions, so I'll hush and let you ask.
Okay, so give everyone an overview of the series.
Okay. The first book, The Princess Who Forgot She Was Beautiful, begins the introduction of all the characters. Basically, it starts in a library in a small community in East Texas where the children are gathered for the summer, a story time. And the kids are rambunctious. They are bouncing off the walls just like their mothers fed them sugar and then walked out the door and left them with the library. The librarian has a father who's in his late 60s and 70s, and she's coerced him. You know how daughters can do their dads into telling a story. And he only knows one, and it's a story that he lived, and he was the main character. But you don't find that out till later. And so, as the story unfolds, you discover there are two stories being told. There's the story the old man's telling, named Hank. That's how he goes, that's his name at first. And he tells the story of a young peasant boy in the medieval times who falls in love with a princess. She's beyond his reach until she's captured by a dragon, an evil dragon, an intelligent dragon. And all the king's horses and all the king's men can't find a way to destroy the dragon until the boy does. And so that's the first story, and it develops, man tells the story. He discovers that the princess, who he thought he had left a long time ago, because you see, he's been cast into the time streams and wound up in East Texas, of all places, from medieval times to East Texas. And he's grown old there. And as he tells this story, he discovers that one of the little girls, the most rambunctious one, the beautiful little girl, she's 6 years old, and she is the storytime queen. She kind of owns him, and she knows the story. She knows parts of it he never told anyone, and he begins to wonder who she is. And like as this events unfolds, he realizes she's the princess, except now she's in a 6-year old body and he's in a 70-year old body, and she doesn't remember who she was. And as the story unfolds, that's just the first book. Into the second book, they're separated, and they're separated by time, separated by geography, by 1,000 years in another place. She she falls in love. Now this time she's an adult because she's aged, and it's called Dances with My Dragon. And she discovers uh, that there are other people who need her. She's involved in North Africa as hordes try to destroy the civilization, and she's there and she helps to stop it. And Harry, who is now Harry, he was Hank in the first book, but now he's back to a younger age. Um, and all this is explained in the story. It's not that confusing. He is in Nazi Germany, and he's working for the British Secret Service, and he is involved in trying to stop the Nazis from. They are conjuring a demon, and they want to infuse their secret soldiers with this power so that they'll be super soldiers. So I took a lot of troops. I guess that's the word for it, troop, dropped, or whatever. You've got Captain America themes. You've got demon themes. You got princess and rescue themes. You've got magic themes. You've got all that. And Harry Ferguson just takes off from there. Kisses of My Enemy is when Harry Ferguson falls in love with an assassin who's supposed to take him out. He's still working for this beautiful witch is supposed to destroy him, and she can't because she's never met a man like that, and she doesn't know what to do with him. And he falls in love with her, but the problem is at the end of book 3, Kisses of My Enemy, the princess Sarah is restored to Harry's time. So now Harry's got the witch he's fallen in love with, who has changed her whole character. She's seen something different in this man. And Sarah, now that's book 4. It's called Rivals. And these two are at each other's throat. They both love Harry, and Harry's, I didn't set out to start this mess, and I do love them both. And so Rivals, they discover that they become friends. The witch and the little girl who's now a dragon shifter. So anyway, that's Princess Who Forgot She's Beautiful, Harry Ferguson Chronicles in a nutshell.
Okay, that
So
sounds
That sounds
fascinating. Would your main character call himself a hero? And if not, how would he describe himself?
he hasn't considered himself to be a hero. That's a way of thinking that is not something he's very humble. Hang on a minute. I'm going to have to let you go. I have a very ill father-in-law, and he's having difficulties, and I'm the only one here. I'm gonna have to cut this off. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So apparently we have a small break in our programming for a medical emergency. So yeah, I'm just here talking to myself. So and this is the wonders of live video. Isn't that just lovely? So while we sit and wait, is there any questions from the audience? Yes, here we are, waiting. Oh, as our guest has departed, and if you've just joined us, we had a small emergency and during the live broadcast, and our guest had to leave, so we're just waiting for a few minutes to see what's up, and he's back. Here we are, and I no
Sorry.
longer have to fill in badly. So
Oh, you were backpacking, weren't you? You were backpedaling. Oh, mercy. Sorry.
well,
I'm sorry.
I'm not good at it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
forgive me. I didn't see that coming.
No, it's perfectly understandable. It's just I mean, this happened before. I may have to bring in my little hand puppet or something to do this video to entertain the troops.
Okay.
So you were talking about how Harry would
question.
describe himself. You were talking about how Harry would describe himself.
He doesn't think about himself. So the idea of describing himself will be a novelty. And I discovered the most humble people I know are not consumed with anything about themselves. They're consumed with a mission. They're consumed with helping other people. And they're not sitting around thinking about, how would I describe myself? That's such an egocentric concept that it's not even something he would consider. You ask me if he was a hero, I would say, no, I'm a dragon rider. I just go where I'm told to go and do what I'm told to do. And I think if he thought about it, he thought, well, I don't know. Did that help?
Yeah, that's cool. So, what annoys your main character more than anything else?
Well, the main character has a relationship with the being that I call the North Star. And it's really a theophany, it's a symbol of God. And my goal in this is to portray God in such a fashion that people think, oh, me, I wish God was really like that. And then continue that exploration and discover that he is. So what is, what troubles actually causes him to be enraged is when he feels like the North Star, who told him that Sarah, the princess, and he would be together forever, lies. And that throws him for a loop. And that's where the fourth book ends and the fifth book begins. And I'm not going to give you any more than that.
Yeah, well,
Did
that's a
that answer your
great
question?
tease. Do any of your characters have a prized possession?
Hmm. There's a couple of ornaments that have a special significance. Sarah wears a an ornament that if somebody gets around her, they have to speak the truth. Harry has a sword that is intelligence, like an AI. And now these aren't featured very often, but they are there. I don't know if you would consider a pet to be a possession, but there is a wolf-like creature that is a friend of Harry's who Harry can talk to telepathically. Now he's not like he's extremely intelligent, but he's extremely passionate, become passionate, and loves Harry. His name is Raleigh. And Raleigh is modeled after my own German Shepherd who was 115 pounds of delight and who I lost about the time I started writing about this character. So Raleigh slipped the chords of this life and he ran into the pages of my book. So maybe there are a few possessions or things that they love. Does that help? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Okay, so was there any point in the series where you were stuck in the plot?
Oh, yeah. Who does Harry choose to be with? Will it be Sarah the princess, who we thought he'd lost forever? Or will it be Belle Rodham, the witch, who mission was to kill him and then she fell in love with him? And now they're great friends. And Harry is a very honorable man. He's not like a guy that was, be a polygamist and have two wives or even two girlfriends. He knows he's got to choose one. And when I got to that place, I couldn't choose. I I knew the best way to deal with it would be to kill one of them off or to misplace them in time so that they would be inevitably separated. And I separated and then I brought them back. And it's like I couldn't make the decision. And I'm not going to tell you how he resolves that because you'll have to read the series.
Okay, so one of our audience liked your answer, so that's nice. Anyway, so did you have an aha moment that changed something within the story?
Oh, I know I have, but I'm trying to remember what they were. There were several. Um, aha moment. Can you define aha a little bit more and give me some time to think
Well,
about that? If you,
a moment that just came to you that sort of clarified everything and said, yes, that's the way we have to go.
hmm. Yeah, but if I tell you, I'll have to shoot you. Um, yes. Yes, I've had those moments, but they're usually at the very end of the book, and the and they lead into the next book. And so, how do I tell you? Yeah, I figured out how um, Harry was going to resolve the issue with choosing between Sarah and Belle. Um, I think. It came in a moment of clarity, but moments of clarity can become very confusing after time. As somebody once said, forget in the midnight what you heard in the morning. And that's easy to do. And I do it on a regular basis. I have this aha moment and I start to write and I think, but I don't want to do that. And that's sometimes, well, let me put it to you like this. 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, I had major surgery and I had a reaction to the anesthesia. And my wife, my mind for 3 days. And this happened, really. I was having conversations with the characters in my book. Now that's how alive these individuals are to me. It's like I talk to them, I know them, I live my life through them, and it's hard to let go of them. And aha moments are like destiny things. And you know how hard it is in real life when you have a major decision to make. It seems like the harder the decision is, the more it affects. And so that happens in writing too, especially if writing's any good. I mean, if it's not touching you, how's it going to touch anybody else? If it's not moving you emotionally, how can it move anyone else? And so I've had those moments and then got over them.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the Sherlock books.
Oh, wow. I love Sherlock Holmes. I have read him since I was a kid. And when I discovered that other writers write Sherlock Holmes and he's public domain, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can write Sherlock Holmes. I thought I'd try. I did. And I wrote the first story called Reflections. And then I realized, there's no way to market a very short story. So I was going to have to write more to develop a book out of it. And I went nuts and it took off. And the first story actually going to be free Wednesday for 5 days, or the first book. But the second book came out 2 days ago, and there are the Sherlock Holmes books. And so I've taken the major characters and I've added a little of the our generation's passion and humor to Sherlock Holmes, and it seems to work. It's not like he's telling funny stories or doing things like that, but he has characters who come alongside and assist him that have a lot more life to them. For instance, one of the characters, the new characters, are a couple, and it's Francis Allparts and his wife Johnny. Francis is about 170 years old, and his original name was Frankenstein. And so he took on the name Allparts to kind of give a clue as to who he was. And his wife, his name is Johnny, and Johnny is amazing. She's beautiful, she's witty, and she is hot tempered. And so she adds dynamic to the Sherlock Holmes canon because, you know, she meets people and she sees through them and she just kind of wants to take them down. And her husband has to very graciously kind of rope her in and say, "You're not doing that." And yet she is a tempering of his bestial nature. In the middle of this, Sherlock Holmes is walking around smoking his pipe, and sometimes he's emotionally clueless, and they're actually bringing him up and bringing him into a world where he can be more than just a deductive machine. So, does that give you an idea?
Mm-hmm. So, why did you add something like Frankenstein? And I think you were adding some paranormal elements as well. So, why did
Oh
you
yeah,
make that
yeah,
decision?
because I liked it. Just it. I enjoy doing it. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Why not? Because they add so much flavor to it. It's around here, if you don't have hot tamales with something, you're eating a lot of bland food. And I realized I'm a character writer. I didn't know that was such a thing until I began to see that a lot of people write great plots, and a lot of people, they're prosaic in their writing. I like to write about people and how they feel and think and what they do. And so my books have a lot of characters. They have the main character, of course, but it's hard for me not to introduce new characters and run off and be distracted. And also, Fran is also one of those public domain names that everybody knows. And you don't expect them to be on the good guys or detectives. And we have a lot of characters show up here. We have the Invisible Man. He's not good. We have, oh, I don't know if you're acquainted with the name Spurgeon from England. He was a preacher, Baptist preacher in the 1890s, in the time of Sherlock Holmes. Well, his son shows up. His son falls in love with one of the ladies that's a witch. But I redefine the concept of witch, not somebody that's involved in the demonic, but somebody who has a gifting that enables them to be very sensitive to things of the spirit. And so, with that in mind, I'm just tearing things up, man. I'm tearing stereotypes up and working out some things. So,
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Kind of get a little League of Extraordinary Gentlemen flavor to it, I think.
oh yeah, certainly.
Anyway, so I think we'll wrap it up here, and I'll let you tell everyone where they can find you and your books.
Okay, Amazon, William David Ellis, author, and you go there and you'll find me. And if you want a free book, then you wait till the 25th of November, and the first Sherlock Holmes book, novella, so it's only about 100 pages, will be free, and you can grab it.
That sounds great.
That helps.
So thank you for being here. It was a pleasure chatting with you again. And so everyone go out and check out his books because they sound fascinating. And Between the Pages Book Chat, we'll be back next weekend with 2 more authors. So join us then. So bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.